Today I have a card to show you. I often say that it's going to be a fast or a simple or a quick or an easy card. Today it's not any of those things. It's not hard, but it is gonna, because I'm gonna show you the Stamparatus. So if you've not used the Stamparatus, I'm gonna have some tips, because I'm even gonna mount the stamp onto the Stamparatus. Sometimes when I show you a Stamparatus card, everything's already mounted on there, but it's gonna go from the beginning. So it's a Valentine card. I'm gonna use the stamps and the dies from the Forever Lovely bundle. It's in the Occasions 2019 catalog. It's got great words. It's got "You are loved," "Wishing you a lovely day," and "I love you until the day after forever." And then it has a "love you" and a "my love," and then it has a little "Happy Valentine's Day." So you could use it for sympathy or weddings or Mother's Day or birthdays. So the words don't have to be Valentine's, but there is a little Valentine in there, which is always nice to have a little one like this later on. And it's perfect for if you're making like little treat bags or bookmarks or little pictures. It's a nice little font. So mine is not going to have a Valentine on it, so it's more, it could be a Valentine easily, but it can also be like a wedding or an engagement card. More of a wedding card, because I'm going to use the "Wishing you a lovely day." So here's the suite, and all I'm going to use today on my card are the stamps and the dies. But I did do a card this morning. One of my friends in California did a challenge for us, and she sent just the papers and the ribbons, which I don't have the paper. I didn't order the paper yet. So she sent the papers and the ribbons and said to make a card with your own stamps and inks. So I did have the dies and stamps, obviously, that go with it. So I've just added, you know, my love for the tulle, which the tulle is going to make an appearance on today's card as well. So here's this. I will tell you, if you do get the paper, it's lovely paper, but a lot of the dies that come in the stamp set or the bundle, I don't know if I have any of them laying here. I should have got one out. But they do, some of them do cut out the paper, which we always like that, you know, when you can cut those out. The other thing that I really like, which I've used, these are on my frog card, are the heart epoxy drops, and I colored those. If you watched the frog card just recently, I colored those with a lovely lipstick. So let's get going on this card, because it isn't, again, it's not a long card, but it is going to take a little bit longer than normal, just because I have to mount the stamps in the Stamparatus. So this, the dies that come in this have a lot of different dies that do some different things. In fact, let me show you this one again. This one right here is a little corner die. So I just put it on the little corner strip here. Can you see that? And then this one right here, it has, this is going to do an edge for me. So I'm going to cut the edge, and then when you do it, I'll show you here, these only imprint. So you can do it either way. I did it this way because I'm going to use it with the stamps, and it's designed to work with the stamps. It also has this piece here, which goes with these stamps. These are only shown at 80%, but it works to cut these out as a border. So there's a lot of fun things. They're a little bit, they're not a, let's pull this out and get it going kind of die set. It has these little ones here, which just do little dots in your corners, which are fun. So for this one, I'm going to put it on here. It needs to be in the center of your plate if you're using your thin die adapter. And then you want it so it's going to be close to the edge of the card, but obviously you want all of your flowers on the card. And then this is cut 4 inches across. So I'm going to do it back and forth twice. So once, and then twice, and then one more time. And then I'm going to do my trick of keeping my plates together, flipping it upside down. And it looks up pretty good, but I found the 2 times that I did it, and I didn't do it this far right here, wasn't letting loose as nice as I liked. So by sending it through one more time upside down, that took care of that for me. I'll show you what I mean. If you like, you can pause your video. Here comes my helper. You can pause the video and then you can see that last time you couldn't see those cut, and now when I lift this up, you can see it just separates. So again, it's better to roll it through a couple more times and have them all pop out now. Move this under there so they don't all fall on my table. I did clean, so if you could see my whole table, my table's cleaned off. So I'm going to try to avoid getting it all messy again. So I'm just going to pop these out. I did get my ribbon all back in here, and my helper has decided that he would like to unravel it all. So this morning I left the room and I came back, and a bunch of my ribbon, he pulled it all out. So I've got the ones he likes tucked under. So those came out nicely. And of course he's going to be here on a Stamparatus card when I really need the table. So you can see that it cut those out, and then it also here has where it's given a nice little imprint. So the reason I'm going to use the Stamparatus is because now what I want to do, this is designed. Yeah, he's laying right where I want to lay my stuff. This is designed so when you put your stamp, the colors go right underneath it. And so I want them to line up exactly there. And then this way, if you're going to make more than one card, it gets exactly where you want it to be. So I've got my stamps, and they are stuck on here, but I'm going to pull them off. So what you want to do is you're going to take both pieces of your paper, because this is my actual card here that I'm going to stamp on, and then this is my overlay piece. So I don't want it to go right to the edge, because I want it to have, when I lay it on top, I want it to have a nice little border there. So I want it to be like that. And then you take your stamps and you just kind of lay them on top of where they go. Except I have them upside down. It's a little confusing, this stamp set. It takes a minute to think about it. Once you see it in your head. So here's the big flower. Here we go. And you have to think too that you want these, the bottom of the first time I had the stamp side up. So obviously this is the part that's going to stick to the Stamparatus. So you lay these over the top of the part that it is going to stamp under. And it doesn't have to be all the way perfect. So I have it like that. And you just grab your door and pull that up. There we go. I should have put my magnet down. Well, now I've moved everything, so you just see me do it again. So I'm going to put this moved so it's not on here straight anymore. So put everything on there and then put your magnet on so it doesn't move. Then I'm going to line this back up again. So obviously the flat side of your stamp is what's going to stick here. And then I start with the biggest flower because there's one big flower here. Lay that there. This also ensures that all of your stamping is going to be on here, because some of these flowers go higher up than what your die cut goes. It's easier if my head's right over the top, but you guys don't want to see the top of my head. So there we go. Now with the magnet on here, it won't move this. There we go. Get those on here, and then these are the leaves, and they do the same thing. So now you have to match up where the leaves are going to go. And again, you just lay them on here. And the leaves kind of go around the flowers. So you lay them on there. And if you guys are coming to camp, This will be the first time that you've actually placed. Usually at camp, but because every time you run this through the Big Shot, I could make a Big Shot die. And everybody could put their paper through the Big Shot die with the Stamparatus, but that would be one more step. Okay, so we have those on. Put those on nice and neat, and then obviously you don't want to stamp this piece. So move this piece out of the way and make sure you leave your other piece here. I'm going to move this into the middle so it holds a little bit more stably. And then I have some ink spots. These are all mostly from Paper Pumpkins. And if you buy Paper Pumpkin during Celebration and you do one of the longer subscriptions, then you get free stuff. And I will put the information for that over on my website, stampinonline.com, because it's a great time of year to sign up for a year-long subscription. So this is Flamingo, and these, you can tell these are all ones that I've got from Paper Pumpkins. You can also get the ink spots that are empty and fill them with your own refills. So this is some Flamingo, and it doesn't really matter which ones you ink. You just don't want to make sure that you want to make sure you get them all and that you don't double ink any. This is grapefruit, and my colors were kind of determined by the ribbon that I was using and then by the colors of these that I had. So this is grapefruit. I'm using the Choral Ribbon from the Occasions catalog, so I wanted the largest flower is going to be coral. And I'm just kind of dabbing it on here. Then I have Real Red. The rest of this card won't take very long now that it's all on here. And then there's two tiny little hearts over here and two tiny hearts there, so I'm making those red as well. You can see those better if you go over to my blog when I have that still photos of these. And then this is the coral. So this largest flower here, I'm going to make the coral. The nice thing is with the Stamparatus, if any of these stamp the way I don't like them, then you can just restamp them. Okay. So take this. Just press those down. And you can see this one right here I didn't get very well, which I think I did that one the grapefruit, so I'll just do that again. And I think it was inked better. I think I just didn't press it very well, once again, because you do better if your head's not quite, if I could get my head over the top. There, we got it. So I think it was inked fine, it was just that I didn't have it. So now I'm going to flip this. There's really not a good way to flip it for you guys. Here, I'll do it like this. I'm just going to take my thing off. Okay, and then I have this one I did not get from a Paper Pumpkin, and this one I have put, this is a spruce refill in one of the empty little ink spots that you can get in the back of the annual catalog. And there's tiny little like ferns and tiny little pieces of greenery. And I'm going to ink those up with this. And it doesn't really matter. You can do them whatever color and just kind of get whatever you want out of them. Then there are some spritzes of, I'm not really sure what they are, some flowery kind of things. And I'm going to do those in coral as well, since it's the color that my ribbon is. Just kind of pull that more in there. And then this is olive. I'm going to do the rest of my leaves in olive. And again, if I miss anything, then I can go back and redo it. I can tell that the spruce is kind of pooling up, so I'm going to go back and hit that another time. You know, sometimes the colors, and it tends to be some colors do it more than others, where they pool up on the photopolymer. So I'm just going to do this one more time, right before I stamp, and that'll kind of help it. And then press that. And there we go. So you've got that. And then I'm just going to take my scissors, just to kind of give it a less harsh edge, and to give it a more soft touch when I fold it. And originally when I made the card, I had some Grapefruit Grove paper, some of the celebration paper on the inside of this. So I'm going to show you guys too, and you can put it down in the comments, although it's different in real life than it is on camera, because that grapefruit paper, it photographs like it has a million colors in it. And it does have a holographic touch to it, but it doesn't, when you look at it, it's definitely grapefruit. So I sent it to my girlfriends, and I sent it to my daughter, and I'm like, with the paper or without? And they all said without. So I think it still looks kind of pretty with. They all liked it without. So I'm going to take this and fold it in half. And then you can see it has this little bit of this here. And then you can see this lines up over where that is. So you could do it without the Stamparatus, but it just helps this part be where it needs to be. So then there's some other stamps in that stamp set. I love these hearts, and these would make a real quick Valentine. So I'm going to take my grapefruit and just ink my hearts with the grapefruit. And these are one of the ones that have all of the different layers of color. So one inking of them is going to make it look like you stamped in multiple times of color, and they're so pretty. So see, one time, and the way the stamps are cut, it looks like you stamped it a bunch of different times. And then I'm going to take the Wishing You a Lovely Day, and just my black pimento. And put that right over the top of those hearts. So see, even without, you could just do a card like that without all of the extra, and that would be pretty on its own. So that's it for the stamping. And then I'm going to take the coral ribbon that I told you I was going to use, which there's also this ribbon, which I think is grapefruit, and it's the celebration ribbon. But this is the coral. I liked it a little better. And then I'm going to use the vanilla. Remember, this comes in vanilla. Our favorite ribbon comes in vanilla, not just white. And I'm going to pull these. I'm forever going to be known as the double tool ribbon person on YouTube. But that's okay. So I'm going to pull it, and I'm going to wrap it around so I don't need a ton on the end here. Just enough here to make my bow, which is always a little bit more than you think. So do my bow here, just doing both at the same time. And that's way too big. Because the coral is satin, it's slippy, and the tulle is not slippy, you just don't want to pull it tight till you're done. Otherwise one of them, the tulle's going to get stuck. So just cut it enough then that you have enough you can tie them over the edge. So I didn't put any in the middle yet because I want to take one more bit of my favorite ribbon. Because especially if this is a wedding card, this ribbon is so pretty for a wedding card. So I'm just going to tie one more bow here over the top, just so it's super, super bowy. You just kind of have to hold it all apart so it doesn't stick on itself, because it does grab itself. There we go. And then just add some adhesive back here. And I'm going to do it a little wide because I'm pulling two different ribbons back here. So I'm going to pull one there and do this one. It's just a tiny bit crooked. You can see, so it holds them both. And they can be crooked here on the front too, especially because it's the tool, but that way you know for sure that it's got them. And then to mount them, I'm going to take some dimensionals. That was the last one. So I'm to the part where I can use my strips from the edges. So here I'm going to put it right on top of the ribbon, which will help keep it in place. If you have the middle of your dimensionals, just stick some dimensionals on top of your ribbon so it's sandwiched in between. And then you may need to trim your card. I found it was easier to trim this when it was all done, because it depends on how close you put this, because you want it to go right to the edge, and you'll see what I mean in a second. So just lay this carefully before you stick your dimensionals down. Oh, it's pretty good. So if this hangs over a tiny bit, just flip it around here and trim off if there's any on the back. So you can see there. And then one last little finishing touch are the Share What You Love Artisan Pearls. And these two flowers right here, they have a center in them on the stamp, and it kind of loses it when you put this over the top. So I just gave them their center back with the pearls, which again, if it's a wedding card, it's a beautiful touch. So I'm going to use one pink and one peach and just add those on there. So there you go. Super, super pretty. Here's one that I did a little bit different. I used a different color here. This is, every time you do it, it's going to be a tiny bit different how close it is to the edge, according to how far you ran your big shot and how far you placed it on your Stamparatus. So in this one, I had started to tie my ribbon and the phone rang, and it's laying over on the table, so I haven't finished my double ribbon. But there you go. I hope you like that. Again, you can do it without the Stamparatus. I just think it's easier if you have it to go ahead and use it, and it's a good way to practice using it. You can also use these as pull-up cards, which is fun. So there you go. I'm going to be having lots of Valentine ideas on this channel and over on my Facebook. On Facebook, there may be a few more. But that's it for now. So have a great day. Bye.